Good morning, Dream Warriors. It's Pete, solo. We're in the morning. We're in the AM hour, and it's December 12th, and this is Justice League, Part 4 of the DCEU. And if you don't know what the DCEU means, let's just hit that music and transition into the episode. Yeah, so assembling parts 1, 2, and 3. Oh my God, part 2 was painful. Uh, totally not ready for to do that. Wasn't really organized. I thought I was sitting down going into it, but this is why we experiment with formats and try. We try new things, and we cannot be afraid just to swing for the fences. It should always be swinging for the fences. I'm not really sure when you get comfortable. But look, congratulations to everyone. You know, Dream Warriors is rising in downloads, in listenership, in audience, and this is before we even hit YouTube. And why hasn't Dream Warriors hit YouTube? That's a heck of a question. Essentially, I just haven't had time. I launched the Pete Show, which is a show about me, and it just details of how I got to where I'm at. Uh, Sacrifices, some of the methodology. I would say it's more of a Peter methodology show than anything. Not that I really think people thought about that. Like, like, oh yeah, this guy talking. I wonder what his methodologies are. But no, it's just it's the whole idea is to drill into me, to like it just expose a little bit of like the effort I put into a lot of things, what started it, why, how it got started, the discipline around it, and like it just like I would say like a little bit of self help. It might launch into a self help type series, but overall, the Pete Show on YouTube is. I'm estimating 10 to 15 episodes. I'm working on episode 2 now. Had a huge audio noise issue. Huge. For some reason, the camera's picking up this hissing, and I had to, just spend time understanding what that is, how to work with it within Adobe Premiere, not Audition. I do the podcast in Adobe Audition, and that's because you want to be able to do things in some applications to save time in the future. There's no time saved when you have to learn something like that. But so it's been the Pete Show, and I've been doing a lot of time lapse drawing and sketchbook flips. Which are, I don't know, they got great traction on Facebook, through the Facebook group, Peter A. DeLuca, if you want to hit it. Some of them are also thrown up on LinkedIn. Again, Peter A. DeLuca, you can find me there. But not so much traction on YouTube. But moving on. Okay. Retraction time. I'm a bonehead idiot. So, most of the previous episode, second to previous episode, part 2 of Justice League, was based on a social media adult. Oh my God, that I've been following, and I started by following his ex-girlfriend, and I addressed him by the wrong name. And this dude's so cool and so nice. I really think him and I would just be able to hang out and have a awesome fun time together. But I was calling him Side Dork 730. It's Sir Dork 730. So everyone just go check out this dude's profile, Sir Dork 730. Really cool dude. I believe he does go to the Philly convention, right down the street here. I don't know. Maybe next Philly Con I'll manage to hook up with them. If I ever go to another comic book convention, or a convention of any sort. Let me home latte here. So later tonight, later this Tuesday, the Star Wars embargo gets lifted. So we're going to give reviews starting at midnight going into Wednesday. A solid 2 days out of the Last Jedi release. So yeah, it's even more important that we wrap up Justice League and move forward. And why did I take such a long break? Look, a couple life things have been happening. I'm definitely moving. I'll talk more about that later. Not this episode, but the logistics behind that it's arduous. It's one of the biggest things I've had to do in my entire life. Am I embracing it? Am I loving it? Am I rolling around in it? Yes. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. A lot of times, holy crap. Am I surrounded by it? Am I cursed in seeing it? But surrounded, I feel like day to day I'm just plagued by people taking the easy road and doing things comfortable. What's that all about? Oh my God. I probably on the average day see about 30 to 40 homeless people in Philadelphia. And, I'm sure a lot of them took it easy at one point. And I know that's an uncommon take. But yeah, played it safe for too long and you end up in the street. I don't know. Just moving on. So, Justice League. At this point of this recording, it's looked at as a complete failure. It didn't generate enough financials, and it didn't generate enough acclaim from audience goers, meaning from the core. Even the core liked it, but the core had issues, and by the core I mean the base, the real appeal, the people that this is made for. Okay, but the core liked it, and I take that back. The movie's not made for the core. It is the core is thought of while making this movie, but the general audience is what was needed to drive this movie. It did good overseas, but Justice League is roughly at $600 million. When you have your three largest IPs as a company, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, The Dark Knight, again, just makes money, can be played by anyone, can be written, can be drawn by anyone, and it's going to sell. The Dark Knight will sell. Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, not so much anymore, but they put Wonder Woman on the map with that movie. Same way that Iron Man came on the map, and it was just funny how the Iron Man, the Marvel, the MCU had an opportunity to birth something, and we really didn't get the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, until Iron Man 2. That's incorporated Nick Fury, Black Widow, with mention of the Avengers. And more or less that stems from the cutscene of the Hulk movie, which is long forgotten. Stark technology and Stark logos are throughout the Hulk movie, and it makes reference to the Super Soldier Serum. But again, all loose. They could have played it out. They could not have. But it really was the success of Iron Man, Hulk doing well, that led into Iron Man 2. That was the true first MCU movie, and that's why Iron Man 2 is so important to me, because I just feel like they, if you had the chance to do Iron Man 1 again, incorporating these other elements, they did it with 2. And that's why, for me, 1 and 2 work together as one giant block. I'm kind of excited because in my mailroom down there, down in the depths, I have a Batman vs. Superman art of book. that came last night. I was so freaking tired by the time it got. It didn't get here till like 10:30. I was so beat, and the Patriots were losing. Might be the fourth game I watched by myself all year, and that includes Sunday and Monday. I haven't been watching a lot of football. I'm pretty much boycotting it. And I'll tell you one thing, you see with a different lens with time away, very similar to when I was away from comics and away from movies and television for those years. When I first started working in Philly, to how little of any of that stuff I was even focused on. And when I got back into it, another lens. It was like Aladdin. It was a whole new world. Oh man, we're leapfrogging all over the place here. But yeah, so it's sad. It's sad considering that the DC Extended Universe. That's what those dumb initials stand for. DCEU, DC Comic Extended Universe. But it shouldn't it be DCCEU, DC Comic, or DC, no, DC Comic. Yeah, it should be should be two C's in there, right? Okay. Anyway, this movie needed to be more than what it was. Period. It needed to capture the imagination. It needed to push the universe forward, and now we're dealing with repercussions of going into a extended universe. We saw this with Universal's Dark Universe, which by all means continue that. Quitting with one just seems goofy, and they need something on like coming up soon. Like they need a Halloween announcement for that franchise, like a big one. Like Angelina Jolie as the Bride of Frankenstein. It's perfect. You gotta get someone good on that movie. Get the guy that directed the Nipson, the guy that directed Predators, that Rodriguez kind of groomed. Get that dude. Philip Nipson, I think is his name. Get that guy to direct it. He's awesome. But yeah. So, we have people out there saying that it's a success, that's $600 million. Don't really buy that. I don't buy it. This movie needed to capture the imagination. Avengers, in comparison, I think is 1.3 billion. Yeah. And can we please remember that by the time Avengers was, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man were not yet those characters. These are B characters that Marvel just had. They had to do something. Look, X-Men even at the time of those movies, maybe not so much now, but the X-Men was always the linchpin of the Marvel universe. And then you had like Spider-Man. The Avengers, look, I go back to growing up. They were low. Daredevil was even above Avengers. So was Punisher. So was Ghost Rider. Wolverine, but you could take him out of the X-Men. There was a lot more traction around the rest of the Marvel Universe than Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. But no, that movie still made billions, okay? It made $1 billion, over $1 billion. Justice League, comparatively speaking, you have two of the biggest IPs ever, Superman and Batman. Wonder Woman off of a huge surprise hit, like monster hit, by today's standards, not overall standards. Okay, not historical standards. Let me adjust my seat here. Ugh, we're just banging and clanging. By any standard, Justice League should have been a $2 billion movie. Justice League should have been the most successful movie of all time. That's just the way it is. Should it have been more than 2 hours long? Definitely. Was it? No. So what happened? We don't really know what happened. We know Josh Whedon got hired. We know the studio put out a main date that said 2 hours, and boom, you're going to get something out of it. Was the studio in panic mode to recoup money? Possibly. Is this all a business? Yes. Do we try and wedge art into business? Yes. If you want artistic movies, go down the street, whoever you are, and I'm sure there's a local art house theater. That just something like something that's in the shack. The local guy is going to show something there. I was actually watching a couple fan films. I should do a whole thing on this. A couple of these YouTube movies, and one of them was like had Dark Side in it, and it wasn't like too bad. And there was another. I think there was like a Dark Knight one where he fights like the Penguin, and but the Penguin is like wearing red, and all his like gang members are red. And whatever won that one, that was like pretty cool too. Good Joker scene in that. They always do the Joker well. I love it when they do the Joker. Joker really is I would say next to Doctor Doom, the greatest villain ever created, easily. It's like Joker and Doom are back to back in my eyes. Because like people have fun. They have fun writing them, drawing them, performing those characters. Not so much Doom, but Doom is it's risky performance wise. You have to have direction for a Doom performance. But yeah, by all means, Justice League should have been a billion-dollar franchise. I wanted to just recent news. Warner Brothers just dumped. Oh, and by the way, we're on the heels of Fox backing out of. Comcast, but backing out of Fox negotiations. So it's all sights are on Walt Disney acquiring Fox Entertainment. Further consolidation. We just have a big theater consolidation too. So two theaters are I don't have the names of those theaters. So theaters are cobbling together, and entertainment providers are cobbling together. And this is survival. This is bad news. This is everything leaning towards at-home experiences, and it's just going to happen. People want it to happen. Going to the theater outside of Star Wars and Marvel movies just is not fun. Sorry to say. And we're also in a content drought because the Golden Globe nominations came out, and I guess Dunkirk is your winner. I guess Dunkirk's going to be the one. It's Dunkirk and Disaster Artist. Yeah, I cannot believe that at all. Never thought I would see this day, but I've been saying that a lot lately. But yeah, so Warner Brothers dished out some Justice League movie releases. The official list of movies that were announced. DCEU slate. So this is what they have coming out. Okay. We all know coming up is Aquaman. And I not crazy over this version of I don't know what's with the tattoos. You live underwater. What is with the tattoos? So does he swim around and find good tattoo places? I don't know. Not crazy for Aquaman. Shazam, bad follow up to that. Shazam is. I've had to explain this movie to people a few times. I don't really. I don't. It's so hard to explain, and it's not fun. It's not fun to explain Shazam to people. Why could you do something street level? You got some cool street level guys. DCEU. You got some cool street level vigilantes. I would even go with a Nightwing movie. Why not just do a Nightwing movie here? Oh my God. Then we have Suicide Squad 2. And now here we go. We have the Savior, The Rock, coming in. That's Black Adam and Suicide Squad 2. I think the team's going to be hunting for him. which is a little bit weird. He should be on the team. So The Rock is probably going to have the most successful of the non-Dark Knight featured DCEU movies. And then we have The Batman, and supposedly Affleck is out, which is bad news for that, because he is liked in this role. So much credit with Henry Cavill. I mean, he has a good agent. He has good handlers, because he handled the Justice League reshoots like a champ. Didn't throw anyone under the bus, even though he was made to look like a fool with that CG lip, And you feel like he's in it. You feel the same about Gal Gadot, like they're in it. What is with Affleck, dude? But he seems to be as contorted as Bruce Wayne and Batman. Is he living the role? I don't know. And then we have Justice League Dark. And then we have Batgirl, which is Josh Whedon. So I guess Josh Whedon wanted a certain level of sign-off for Batgirl. That's why he helped with Justice League. Which he did not help Justice League at all. I'm not even sure why you would take that assignment, other than having final cut for your movie, or near final cut, just having some level of pull. And then we have Green Lantern Corps. Just call it Green Lantern. Then we have the Flashpoint. Confusing. Flashpoint is a very complicated story. It's who knows what version of this is going to end up in the movie. Regardless, Flashpoint is much to be desired, as that being a focal point of a flick. And then we have Wonder Woman 2. So just getting into Flashpoint. Flashpoint is the crumbling of about, I would say, like roughly 60 years of DC continuity crashed into this Flashpoint storyline, and where the Flash literally ran into another reality, breaking the previous reality, which was the reality that comic book readers grew up reading, if you read DC Comics. So if you spent time and money and effort into understanding all the mythology, all the backstory, all the continuity of DC Comics, Flashpoint just erases it. And that led into what's called the New 52. And from that point, it's been far confusing following DC Comics, understanding what is what. This is the disaster that the money bean counter executives would fear what happened to a line if a line's intent is to, make money and make a business. You don't want this to happen. Now, on the contrary, Marvel, you're like, well, what's Marvel doing? Marvel just went identity politics with all of their characters and have been bleeding in sales ever since. So, in effect, between DC and Marvel, you have lost consumer confidence at a insanely high level, at a level I, again, thought I would never see in my entire life, which I'm witnessing now. So we're dealing with the crumbling of two. Well, we were talking about the NFL earlier. The crumbling of three institutions: the National Football League, Hollywood, inside and out. With these accusations, butts and seats, not there. Pun intended, I guess, for that one. And the comic book industry. So entertainment is shifting. That's the point I'm getting at. Consumption is shifting. Justice League, believe it or not, is a part of that. It's symbolic of this. The fall of Justice League is the fall of entertainment. You can make that argument. So, when we go through the initial launch movies of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, 2008 had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk. 2010, Iron Man 2. 2011, Thor. 2011 also Captain America. 2012, Avengers. So between 2008 and 12, we went from Iron Man to Avengers with one sequel. That's, just looking at that bullet point, like on paper, it's pretty, it's targeted. It's designed. It just actually feels good. It feels right. A lot of this is what feels good. There's no data. You can't quantify it. You gotta trust your nose. DC Extended Universe, Man of Steel, BVS, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad. Can I ever spell suicide? It is always marked on my spell check. God damn it. Wonder Woman, Justice League. So from 2013 to 2017, that 3 year gap hurts between Man of Steel and BVS. That 2013 2016. So in 16 we had BVS, Suicide Squad. 17 we had One Woman, Justice League. That's a good block. Comparatively speaking, those movies do outgross what Marvel did in their initial 5. Like 5 versus 5, DC wins. But no, people loved the 5 initial Marvel movies, and people put Hulk in there. If you take Hulk out and reshuffle the deck, like Avengers just takes 2 of those movies right off the table. Okay, but yeah, so the fundamental ideas of the DC Extended Universe roots into the nature of the DC comic book properties, which is always a multiverse setting. The editorially, they have run from this idea, and because they have been running from this idea as if it's a demon, they've lost opportunity. This is something I've been saying since the early 2000s when I worked in a comic shop, when I hustled and bustled and unpacked books and helped order books and called people to come in to pick up their books. I did it all. I did it with this guy named Sal. The store was Hall of Heroes, and at that time had the book coming out. So I saw a lot of the comic industry in the early 2000s, and that's almost why I got out too, because it's maddening, and it's not much of a business. I hate to say, the business idea of comics just doesn't gel. So I saw DC always kind of being second to Marvel. And I saw that the one part of DC that people love was at the time now defunct, but Elseworlds, which now became Multiverse. And the Elseworld books would always sell. The prestige format books would always sell. Just crazy ideas. Samurai Batman. I'm just trying to go through some of them. Like technically, I think some of the demon killing joke were considered Elseworlds at one point. They rolled in. Now technically, Watchmen is multiverse, but that would even be Elseworlds by today's standards. But like Elseworlds had like Gotham by Gaslight. A lot of these are being adapted for animation. Gotham by Gaslight, good. Where Batman faces off against Jack the Ripper. I'm pretty sure that was the first Elseworlds. But yeah, just a lot of fun ideas. Okay, so they don't embrace this. So if they embraced it, even on the cinematic level, on the film level, you could pivot and recreate and adjust your franchise. If you're going to be like reaction based, a lot like how I feel like the comics are now, and it would kind of all make sense. And look, people are willing to accept different versions, different actors playing certain roles. They're used to it. They're willing to adopt it. Okay. But I think there is a little bit of old Hollywood in the DCEU, and some of that could be holding it up. Should they erase and crash everything at Flashpoint? Yes. Should Flashpoint be expedited into the next big event movie for DCEU? Yes. And should they promote it erasing everything? Yes. Or should they just do Flashpoint as like a short film and put it out for free? Make a 30-minute movie about it. Just put it out there and restart. Just let it all go. That's what I would do. So the Justice League movie had Cyborg, who's Jeff Johns. He's now out. Thank God. I have not been a Jeff Johns supporter. I don't think he did much in the comics. I think he has butchered his control, has butchered the DC comic book line. I think he's too much geek, not enough executive. Just based on his decisions, that's my measuring stick. Jeff Johns is out. He favored Cyborg. The Cyborg movie is gone. Was not on that slate I read earlier. I can't enjoy that enough because he has to go. This guy also championed and was the driving force behind the Green Lantern movie. How do you get an opportunity to run the DCEU after Green Lantern? What excuses do you give? Was he a part of the Zack Snyder exodus? I believe so. I believe he was a part of the group that pushed him out. I believe Zack Snyder was pushed out. The whole cover with his family issue. I even hate bringing that up because we're talking about movies. I believe he was a part of that. Yes. So Zack Snyder, when we go through Zack Snyder's deleted scenes of this, we have Darkseid. We have Black Costume Superman. We have the Green Lanterns. Okay, we have Kilowog. We have geek moments. We have what the core wanted, and we have an expanding of the mythology. We have more exposition in the invasion of Earth. With the new gods and the old gods. Okay, we have Eris. Eris is there with dialogue. So. Zack Snyder had a idea. He had this vision on redeeming the Man of Steel. This was an arc set up from the first frame of Man of Steel. Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, the sentiment of a missed hero, the return of that hero in heroic adulation, inspiring the Dark Knight. Eclipsing or ending in Justice League was a hell of a. It was a hell of an arc. It was ballsy. It was visionary. It was a visionary take on the Man of Steel, and we will probably never see what the intent of that was. We get shades of it. Whedon came in. I don't know. I said this before. I don't know how 3 months of reshoots can build into something that's about 10 years in the making creatively for Zack Snyder. I believe Snyder should get all the credit. He should even get the MVP for most valuable player because he tried to do something. And it was robbed. He was robbed. It was taken from him. But MVP to Zack Snyder. Shout out to Zack Snyder. So a lot of the hooks for Justice League was spoiled by the trailers. Watching for the first time, you kind of knew everything that was coming. Every cool scene in the movie outside the Justice League going up against Superman post resurrection was pretty much hinted on. Overall the movie does not feel impactful. Has little memorable scenes. No standout action sequences. These are notes I wrote down after I saw the movie. Without when I spoke about this movie with Mark, I wanted more of a conversation with him about it. But these are my thoughts. Aquaman, no big water moment at the end of the movie, at the final action piece. How does he not summon water and do amazing things with water? I do not know. So if we go into the history of DC Comics, so let's just do this. 86, you have Crisis on Infinity Earths. 94, you have 0 Hour. 2000s, we have Hyper Time. 2006, we have Infinity Crisis. 2007, we have The New 52. 2010, we have Flashpoint. Or 2007 is 52. Then we have Flashpoint. Then we have New 52, Convergence, Rebirth. These are the times that DC comic book universe has been rebooted. It just seems like a mess. Mark could probably give us a little bit more insight. The other Mark, not the... I got the Mark. How about that? We'll get back to calling him that. So the DC universe favors this type of storyline. If they had balls, they would have found a way to put the DC film, DCEU with the DC television. Just get Flash, Arrow, Legions of Tomorrow, or whatever the heck that show's called. Put those shows, somehow buddy those shows with this movie. They could have done it. They should have done it. And not to mention, Justice League doesn't have anything with the revelation of the vision that Dark Knight had. Superman has a vision in one of the cutscenes. Okay, which actually would have been cool because every single one of the DCEU movies has a vision. All the characters have a vision. There's always a vision, and I kind of like that thread. I thought that was like kind of cool. That's gone. Yeah, so yeah, so I don't know. It's a sad. It's sad for movies because everything's shrinking now, box office wise. Butts and seats. When I say box office, I mean butts and seats. Okay, everything's shrinking. There's no denial. You can't run away from that. And what's so sad about it is that if you grew up loving movies and I went through a period where I hated movies. I kind of still hate the culture, the consumption culture of movies and the geek culture of collecting and all of that. I'm making so many efforts to really purge all of it from my life. I just want it all gone. I don't really care. But yeah, so you don't want to see institutions crumble. You really don't. Except for Washington, D.C. You want to see that kind of sink into the ocean. But no, you don't want to see the crumbling of institutions, ones that you know have a cultural benefit, that can inspire, that do create careers for people that are about, segments of it are creativity, about creativity. You don't want to see that go away. As cynical as you could be, you just don't. Justice League, what that does, it takes the failure of Justice League takes the DCEU off the table. So it's Star Wars, it's Marvel Comics, Cinema Marvel Comics, the MCU, Star Wars. Are we going to get something else like new coming in, like to kind of maybe, hopefully? Do we need just another? No, we need like 5 or 6 Star Wars level franchises. And I'm not saying they have to be a extended universe, but we need impactful new movies, period. We need stuff people haven't seen before. And it seems like whenever that happens, people reject it. Like Pacific Rim being a really good example of that. Because I knew you were thinking about it. You were like, oh, what's an example? He's throwing things around. I can't follow. But no, Pacific Rim and look, Pacific Rim Uprising, I'm excited for. Just to see it. Does it look good? Do I need to see more from it? Yeah, I do need to see more from that. And maybe if you continue playing of the Apes, people do seem to enjoy those movies. But the newer one, really, again, not enough butts and seats. I would even deal with a new character. We all know what's going to happen with Shazam. But I'm talking with like a new impactful adaptation, like coming from comics. Like Spawn. Like, why can't Spawn be the biggest thing? Why shout out to Rob Liefeld. Why can we just get Youngblood out there? People would flip out over Youngblood or Akira, a 2-part Akira movie, a Robotech series. I don't know. It's tough. It's a little depressing. I never thought like a Justice League movie would not be bonkers. That never really occurred to me. It was just like the level of bonkers. Maybe at one time I thought it was going to be a low level bonkers, but no, it sucked. Can we do like a Michael Jordan biopic? How about that? Oscar bait. Joking, don't do that. But look, this is Dream Warriors 59. We're signing off here. Just want to have some final words with Justice League. All sites are going to be on Star Wars. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing yet, but Star Wars would be maybe like a similar breakdown, a little bit more regular, since I cleared a couple of hurdles. to get back to Dream Warriors. Maybe we'll get Norm back. Maybe we'll do Mark and Mark. Get my sister to sit down. John. I don't know. Maybe someone new. Some new Dream Warriors out there want to sit down and discuss. But no, it's relatively a ongoing process. But and Dream Warriors has maybe evolved into a solo show because I love starting things with people and people not having the courage to finish. That's a tough thing. That's a tough thought for a lot of people. Give me an example. Give me an example. But you're talking like that. I don't have to give examples, because if you hear something like that and you feel something, then you know it's true, and that's all. Hey, everyone, have a good day. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Hump Day. Thursday is Star Wars. We got Christmas coming. We got BB-8. BB-8. Signing off. Have a good day. Enjoy yourselves.